Okay, so how to relax and sink. This exercise requires a feeder. There are several stages of this. The first is my partner puts a pressure down, touches my base. So I define the line of tension in my body between her point of contact and the ground. So in this case, it's going straight to my back leg. And what I want to do, once I find that line, is I want to touch her bridge gently and just empty the line out in my body to yield and pull her balance out ever so slightly and then come back. Then she touches another part, she connects to my foot, I just soften that out and yield. Now there's a couple different ways, because Marissa's very energy sensitive. When I pull that intent out, her balance moves. If a person's on the other end of the bell curve and they're a brick and you drop that line of tension, they're just going to and straight back to the brick. They're going to maintain their grounding. So each person you do this exercise with will give you a different responsiveness. That response is quite unique. The most important part of the skill here is from there to the ground, just empty that out. And so that's step one. Here I'm dissipating the energy for the most part. I'm just dropping it to the ground, letting it go. Stage two is as I yield, I transform. And this is where it more becomes the proper meaning of sung. To move the tension from muscle to fascia. So here I need both hands touching. I vital breathe into my partner, and then I amplify the transformation of the tension from her hand to my foot. And I sink into the feeling of vital energy. What this does is it spreads the space of her vital energy in space and takes balance. Now, as I said before, Marissa's on the extreme sensitive end of the curve. She's very energy sensitive, where this isn't going to be the reaction you get with someone on the other side who's a brick. They're just going to go and unconsciously correct their balance instantly. You'll have to put in a lot more energy to get the other end of the curve to react like this. So now we go through a whole wide range of areas in the body. She presses in. Now I've got two lines, and I empty the line and transform into the feeling of life force. So this is step two. Step one, dissolving tension and getting your partner's intent to fall through you. Step two, dissolving tension and moving it into the feeling of life force, and then putting that life force around you and your partner to absorb you and your partner's tension. So step three is to take that and release time on it. So during step two, you can do it for about a year of just sinking, building. They touch, and you just draw them out. This is not the same as Tai Chi's seizing energy, and it's partially Tai Chi's connecting energy. It's a little bit different, because here I'm not paying so much attention to grabbing her and connecting to her. I'm connecting to the tension, and I'm just absorbing and releasing it into vital energy, paying attention to vital energy in space. Not so much attention on, I'm trying to control her. I'm just relaxing into the space, and whatever happens, happens. About 25% of people are going to get a relatively strong response. And then as you move through that curve, it's going to go towards people just going, and losing balance on the other end of the curve. Okay. Then we work more astrally. So to release, relax and sink astrally, I define the line of tension, I soften into the vital, and I just slow everything down into Tai Chi speed and go more into the feeling of the astral plane. That means I've got to slow down the energy. So as she puts the energy in, I slow it down. Now I'm purposely making sure that I don't sink inside her, because I don't want her to fall onto the ground, because she's sensitive to energy. So if anything, I'll put the energy much more up and raise the frequency of the energy. You need to train this with a lot of people so you can get a bell curve. And then you'll go, okay, this is an air person, this is a fire, this is a water, and this is an earth, as you go through the curve. And then activate within the earth people the air qualities to make them float more, and the water people, make them a cork on the ocean, and you have different feelings of how to affect different types of people with this exercise. Now, if I didn't have my partner putting pressure from here to here, I'd be too unconsciously accustomed to the pressures of gravity to work efficiently. You're only aware of obvious tension, not unconscious tension, because it's unconscious. So by her touching my base, it's sort of like, I feel that. She's giving me an external stimuli between here and there, and then I can relax on the first level, go into that second, and go into the astral space. And so whether you're just emptying the tension out and dissipating it, or tuning it to vital force, or moving it and slowing it right down into astral. And then from the astral, we just relax straight into the mental. Now the mental, when we're working with the mental body, it's mind substance. So I feel her intent, and I just put my mind on the feeling of her intention, and I catch her from that level, from the mental body. So we have this releasing of physical muscle tension through the fascia web, through the life force, through the astral, through the mental. When you go to mental, you can pretty much ignore everything below it. To get to astral, you have to move up the vibrational scale, because they're all subject to linear qualities of space. The mental body isn't. Mental is not subject to space. But again, when you move to the mental body, you'll affect sensitive people, but not insensitive people. So when we look at this as a Qigong model, you need to train a really strong body, tune your fascia, make yourself strong vitally and astrally to affect everybody. If you're training a Qigong model where you're absorbing energy into the mind, then there's going to be people you simply can't affect because the mental astral matrix is too strong. So this model is primarily used for people who are very energy sensitive. Okay, so, and just connecting to the mental body. And then from there, for those of you who've done Akasha training with me, you touch the physical, you just become sensitive to the astral, you become sensitive to the mental body, and then you Akashically breathe into your partner to measure their sensitivity. Once you're putting your mind on the Akasha of their body, then if you want to strengthen any of these levels in the vibrational scale, so let's say now I'm working with the qualities of Akasha, I would first get my partner there, then ask my partner to give me pressure, and I'd put that pressure onto the Akasha. So in Tai Chi they have this thing of Fa Jin, which is working with the vital energies, the Jin of the vital body, Fa Qi, which is working with the power of the astral body, Fa Shen, which is working with the power of the spirit, and then Fa Wu, which is working with the power of Akasha. Wherever you want to develop power, you have to float your partner. So let's say if vital, now she pushes on me, I spread the energy vitally. And astral, and then she pushes on me, I spread the energy astrally, and I'll get strong astrally. And then mental, then as she pushes on me, I would spread into the mental. And then Akasha. Now you push on me, and I just keep spreading into the Akashic feeling. And for my experience and her experience, each one of those is unique. To the person who's watching, they may be able to see differences or not. It'll depend on each individual you're doing it with. Some people it's dramatic difference visually, and other people it's very, very similar, because all of them, they're floating. The feeling quality of the bridge changes. It becomes emptier and emptier as you move up the vibrational scale. So for the person this morning emailed me, says, how do I develop relaxing and sinking? This is the basic model. When you dissolve the tension from here to there, to the ground, you need more pressure on your body than what gravity normally acts on, so you can feel. You need to have someone push everywhere on your body, all different places, and you empty the lines out. So hundreds of different connection points to the ground. Dissipate it, tune it to your biotensecurity, tune it to life force, tune it to the astral, tune it to the mental, tune it to the Akasha. And then after the Akasha, there's a type of light of the mind. And you can just activate, and as your partner pressurizes out, you summon that quality, and the more pressure they give you, the more you reflect off that frequency of light. So there's a vibrational scale. Whatever you're paying attention to while you're sinking, relaxing and sinking, is the frequency that's going to get stronger and stronger. If you're paying attention to your muscles and physical tension, well, you're working in that relationship between muscle and fascia and activating biotensecurity. If that's what your mind is paying attention to, that's what gets stronger. So you always want to move your mind a little bit deeper. So the feeling of life force will manage everything below it. The feeling of astral will manage everything below it. The feeling of mental will manage everything below it. Feeling of akasha, everything below it. Feeling of non-dual light, activate everything below it. Okay, so I hope that answers that question. Thank you for your time, everyone. Okay, see you in the next video.